This episode is brought to you by Marvel Studios Echo. All episodes streaming January 9th, only on Hulu and Disney+. Rated TV MALV. Viewer discretion advised. Maya Lopez has betrayed her mentor, the notorious Kingpin. Now on the run, she returns to her hometown to prepare for the biggest fight of her life. Don't miss Marvel Studios' hardest-hitting series yet. An epic 5-episode event. Marvel Studios Echo. All episodes streaming January 9th, only on Hulu and Disney+.
Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
So, Caroline, Dirty Chad.
Dirty Chad.
We're about to get deep into this. You were married to Dirty Chad. Can you start at the end? Like, when did you know who Dirty Chad actually was? When did you find out Dirty Chad was dirty? And when did your marriage end?
November 30th, 2019. It ended. We were at Thanksgiving. We left Thanksgiving at his family's house, and it was a little weird while we were there because he would not sit down and eat. And I thought his behavior was a little weird. A little odd. I didn't think too much of it because I was eating food and everybody was there, and it was, just one of those. I was just being myself, I do know that his cousin started yelling at him and just was kind of telling him to get his shit together. She recognized his behavior from how he had acted when he was younger, which I didn't recognize this behavior because I had never seen anything like this, and so I didn't recognize it. So she basically was calling him out and was like, "Hey, get it together." We had little Hayden with us. I was eating, and he left to go run an errand.
And Hayden's his son, right?
Hayden is his son. We eventually go home. We get into an argument because I was upset about how he was acting at dinner. Because once he eventually sat down to eat, he didn't really sit there. He just kept getting up, and it was getting annoying. So we get home. We're getting out of the car. I have a cup in my hand. He is getting upset. He knocks the cup out of my hand. I just kind of gave him a look because we never really had an argument. Hayden and I just go to sleep, and then he left again and went to the store. I was just like, bye, and we got ready for bed. Me and Hayden and I. But I woke up at 3 a.m. and he was not in the bed. He was in the guest bathroom. So I knocked on the door, and I said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Are you pooping? Like, why are you in the other bathroom?" And in the past, I had caught him in that bathroom masturbating while watching porn. And to me, that was a betrayal, mainly because, I get that people who have been married for a while are probably like, go ahead, use your hand, do whatever you want. I'm tired. I ain't dealing with it. Mm-hmm. But whenever you're newlyweds,
Year one still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Year one, you are, you kind of want to be with your spouse, especially when you're in the room the next room over. And when they have just turned you down to go into the bathroom, and then you find out what they're doing, that's like you chose porn over me.
Right.
So that's kind of shitty. So I was annoyed and frustrated, and I was like, whatever, I'm going back to sleep. Went back to bed. And at this point, I would always get up really early, and so I was just like, well, I'm just going to go to sleep. Wake up the next morning and realize that he had never went to sleep the whole night. He was babbling about how he had been through this before in the military, where he went multiple days without sleep, and he knew he could do it, and just talk, because at this point he could not stop talking. He couldn't sit still. He tried to take a shower. He couldn't relax. He said that it was because of his blood pressure medication that's why he couldn't sleep, because he had been taking clonidine, but he had been taking 10 of them a day and abusing them, and he said his VA doctor cut him off of those meds cold turkey, and that's why he was not able to sleep. So I'm thinking, what? I don't know what your doctor said to you. Whatever. So
and you have seen him take these clonidines before at night.
Yeah, at night.
So it's obviously a routine that he's taken.
So I didn't think he was taking 10 a day. I thought he just took them at night to sleep, or for PTSD because he was military.
And that's a common way to use that prescription. Is a lot of people need clonidine to go to sleep and wind down. Though it is a blood pressure medicine, it helps people sleep.
Yeah. So he told me he hadn't slept in 3 nights. I thought he was exaggerating. I've always gone to sleep before him. I go to bed at 10 o'clock every night. So I was like, well, do you want some NyQuil? Do you want some Benadryl? Do you want to smoke some weed? Do you because that he would do that pretty often to relax. And I, at this point, was desperate for him to sleep because he couldn't even sit.
Wow.
So, of course, he decided the weed. He gets the weed. He smokes the weed. And it actually made him worse. And he escalated. And I have video of this because apparently deep down, I obviously knew something was wrong, but continued to, at first I thought it was funny. But he starts talking gibberish. He starts, I tried to make him eat. And he starts saying that he thought we were on a boat. He started asking, how did he get to the hospital? He started to say he thought he turned into a dog. He started to ask, why is my Jeep over here and driving down the road when I'm like, we're just sitting down together right now. So it was all of this. It was crazy. It was crazy. Very out of character. And I was like, what? Maybe let's go to the hospital. Let's just get you. Maybe you need to be induced with a coma. I don't know what you need. So I wake up Hayden. We get in the car, but I couldn't drive because he was so frantic and so erratic. Couldn't drive. Go back in the house, and his nose starts bleeding. And he starts to take off his shirt. And he yells at Hayden, and Hayden starts crying. And I told Hayden to go to his room because at this point I decided to call Dirty Chad's uncle because I was like, I need some help. I don't know what's happening. He's starting to act this way, and I need some help because I don't need Hayden around this or seeing how he's acting because something's happening. I thought he was going through some kind of, I thought it was just like sleep deprivation. Well, we called, his uncle called 911, had ambulance, had a fire truck, had 2 deputies show up at my house.
Uncle was there.
Uncle came there.
Okay.
Another family member came to pick up Hayden, got Hayden out of there before all the paramedics and everything arrived. When they arrived, the first thing that they said was, "Oh, he's overdosed." And I said, I'm like, what? What is he overdosed? And I started to argue with him. And I was like, no, it's just because he hasn't slept, because he just was taking off his blood pressure, cold turkey, and it's just really messed with him. And they were like, no. We get in the ambulance. He gets strapped down because he couldn't sit still. Get to the hospital. They ask him what drugs he had in his system. He said he had smoked weed, and he said he had had cocaine. I was in a little bit of shock. I knew he had done it in the past. I didn't know he had currently done it and it was in his system at the time. They asked if he shot up anything. I'm just sitting there in the back of the room, just listening and watching. And he said that he had confessed to, he had did what's called plugging, which is when you get a syringe and it's like not a needle, but if you're going to take cough medicine, and he mixed it with water and he shot it up his butt.
What?
So this is more vascular. It gets into your system faster and you feel the effects faster. And then apparently when you mix it with a little bit of weed, you start hallucinating.
Oh my God. Y'all are at the hospital or in the ambulance?
We're at the hospital at this time.
You realized your husband has a drug problem.
Oh, that's a big drug problem.
A big drug problem.
So I'm at the hospital. I call my mom, crying. And that was the last time he was ever at my house.
Wow. Meanwhile, Hayden's about to get hepatitis C because
he's been taking that syringe for his cough medicine.
Oh, my goodness. Here's your teaser. That is Dirty Chad for you guys. If they want to hear the rest of this, Caroline, where will we drop the rest of these episodes?
We will drop at patreon.com/BloodyHappyHour. This is for the exclusive, the details, all the tea.
From the
very beginning, we started high school and we go all the way through the ups and the downs and everything else. You don't want to miss this.
See y'all.
Bye.